Hello everybody, I'm Alex. Today I watched a video and I think this video is really interesting but a little difficult. And this video is also about Silish. And in this video, Silish invited some friends to the school, and they all sat inside the classroom, and they should finish three challenges to win the $1,000. But if they get wrong while doing this challenge, and they will lose the $1,000. So I think it will be really difficult for them to win the $1,000. And let's go inside the challenge. The first challenge is no speaking. And Jordan said, you guys should not speak. You guys should not speak during the 10 minutes. At first, they didn't talk to others, and just maybe throw things to others. But after a while, a clown came inside the classroom. Jordan let the clown to make the students laugh, and this clown was so funny. So one of Silish's friend made a sound, and also there is an impactor. There is an impactor during these 8 students, and they should find the impactor. If they didn't find the impactor, and the impactor will win the $1,000. So their main task is to find the impactor. And after a while, Silish said maybe one of her friend Tsunami is the impactor because she made sound. But Tsunami said, the clown was so funny, so I make the sound. So at the beginning, I also said maybe the Tsunami is the impactor because she always didn't see anything while doing many challenges. So I think maybe she is the impactor, and I didn't want to say anything, just want to win the $1,000. But Tsunami was not the impactor. Okay, let's go to the next part. After the clown's challenge, the second part of the not talking challenge was don't say happy birthday to a little girl, and that day was a little girl's birthday. So this girl really wanted Silish and her friends to say happy birthday to her, but they are in the no talking challenge. But the girl didn't know they are in the no talking challenge. But also, finally, Silish said happy birthday to that little girl because Silish said I was a good person. Although other people thought Silish was an impactor, Silish also said, I am a good person because I want that little girl not to be sad, and we all need to say happy birthday to her. And I think it is the most difficult challenge inside this video. If I'm in this challenge, I will also say happy birthday to that little girl, because I don't want the girl to be sad too. Okay, and then let's go to the second challenge. The second challenge is about balloon. The balloon is really light, so it can float in the air, and Silish and her friends should use their hand to push the balloon into the air, and not to fall until the time is over. And this challenge was also difficult. At first, it was just one balloon, but later there were 3 balloons during the 8 students, and it was not easy to pull out of all of 3 balloons into the air. So at last, Silish's hand and eye didn't work well, and Silish didn't see the balloon was already float to her face, and Silish pushed the balloon, so the balloon fell on the ground. Okay, and after this challenge, all the people thought that Silish is the impactor because Silish made 2 faults. One fault is in the Happy Birthday challenge, and one fault is in the Polling Balloon challenge. So many of them thought Silish was the impactor, but when Jordan asked them to raise their hand to judge if Silish will go out the game, they didn't pull up. They didn't raise their hand because it is just the beginning of the game, so they couldn't judge if Silish is the impactor. Okay, and the third challenge is the briefcase challenge, or it can be called, or we can call it the deal challenge, because it's a deal between Jordan and the students. Also, the deal is the students all close their eyes inside this challenge, and the students should raise their hands if they want to get the $100, and if more than 1 people raised up their hands up, and all of the people will not get the dollar. And if just 1 student raise their hands up, and that student will get the dollar. I think the most difficult point of this challenge was the student didn't know if other students raise up their hands. And at last, there are 2 boys raise up their hands, Macau and Zone. And at first, all the people thought Macau was the impactor. Was the impactor because Macau raised his hand. Macau was the first student for raising the hand, but Macau said he had making a sound while he was raising up the hand. So the people also thought Zone is the impactor, but all of them were not the impactor. Okay, and let's go to the next challenge. The next challenge is also interesting. Jordan let Macau out of the classroom and asked Macau to see some things. To see some things inside the briefcase, and Macau should introduce the things to the student if he had remember them. And at last, Macau introduced all of the things to the students. She told all things, and the kinds of the things were right, but just one thing were wrong. And Macau told the color of the skincare is green. It was right, but it was not a kind of skincare, and it is another kind of the skincare. So Macau said, maybe this term will be wrong for me. Will be really difficult for me to survive inside this game. And at last, the student found that Macau told them the wrong kind of the skincare, and all of the students thought Macau was the impactor. But Macau said, "I told you the color." And then they went to the next term, but all of the students thought maybe Macau was the impactor. The next challenge was about subject, and the students were divided into 3 groups and went into 3 different rooms about 3 different subjects: the math subject, the geography subject, and the English subject. And I think the English subject is the easiest one because they just need to guess the words with according to the emojis. And the geography was difficult because they should remember many cities of America and wrote them into the map. So I think at last the English team will win and the other teams will lose because Salish was not good at math. And at last I was right. I'm right, and the English team won. But surprisingly, Jordan divided the students to 2 groups, the loser group and the winner group. And the winner group could choose 1 people to get out of the game, and they chose the Macau, and Macau was out. But Macau said he was playing hard during this game, and he was not the impactor. So Salish and other teams lose some money. And I think sometimes Macau did the wrong thing, inside this challenge, but he was not the impactor. I didn't know if Macau was not the impactor, and why Macau? Well, Macau always do bad things to stop the students from getting the money. Okay, and let's go to the next challenge. Next challenge was the pudding challenge, and the student told Jordan they think who is the impactor, and the 3 students should play a game with Jordan, and at last the students wins. And okay, let's go to the next challenge. The next challenge was the walking challenge. They should walking across the vines and from dropping them, and they should not drop the vines. And Salish especially liked the 6-7 vine. And at last they won this challenge and get the postcard successfully. But after this term, Salish said maybe Gio is the impactor. But after 5 students raised their hand, expect Amelia, and Jill was not the impactor, and also a man told Jill who is the impactor, and Jill looked surprised. So I think maybe the impactor was not Tsunami, and I thought maybe it was Alamia. And at last I was right again. The impactor was Alamia because Jill looked so surprised while hearing who was the impactor. And Alamia were not mentioned during all of this game. And at last the impactor is Alamia, and the students got the double money. Okay, this video is thanks for watching, everyone.